where we are moving towards humans being assisted with machines. I would not say complete automation, but yes, to bring in that efficiency. That's where we want to go, and we are building these use cases and skilling our people. A very industry-focused skill programs is what we are doing. And apart from this, what I see AI with respect to India, and to build on what Mr. Chandran has said, how to enable MSMEs. So we work on something called not plug and play, but we want to set up systems where build to suit systems, where we bring MSMEs, we actually want to eliminate that barrier for entry for them into global markets. And this is because of the knowledge asymmetry that rises on what buyers do I go to, and then even buyers, who do I trust? So we want to work, we are working on systems where we have traceability and blockchain activities, where we design from the very start itself, from the fiber itself, how do we have a traceability chain, are the use cases as Government of Telangana we have been working on. So with Keytex itself, we want to look at where fiber is coming. They have set up a machine just to track the quality of fiber, the bales which are coming, from where it is coming. So these are things we are setting up.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. It's important to get also that perspective included in the discussions, because without skilled and trained labor force, even automation doesn't bring you and doesn't get you anywhere. We know that around 90% of India's downstream output come from thousands of MSMEs in the decentralized textile clusters. For India as a whole, to improve its competitiveness, the technological upgradation in these clusters, whether it's in power looms or in wet processing, is critical. Mr. Chandran, as president of CT, you are at the helm of the industry and provide input to policymakers. In your opinion, what are the three most important practical and scalable pathways to make technology accessible to thousands of small and medium-sized enterprises?
As far as city is concerned, we have two primary roles to play. One is policy advocacy, where we represent the industry's interests to the policymakers and to the government. And the other is development of our members. And when you talk about development of our members, it's in terms of knowledge building, in terms of capacity building, and how to enable them to be future ready, as it were. So that's where I think your question is coming from. And to make a business future ready, I think it's more awareness, it's knowledge building. And there, we have webinars, we have knowledge sharing sessions, both in terms of access to technology. I think it's very important that small and medium enterprises gain access to, gain awareness about the technologies that are prevalent, get channels of communication going with the technology providers. So our webinars and knowledge building sessions help in this regard. The other is in terms of investment. Today, these technologies don't come cheap. As Mr. Radhakrishnan was saying, the costs are coming down, but still, for a small and medium player, they are, sometimes the costs can be prohibitive and would need to be financed through external means. So there again, in terms of helping small and medium businesses acquire a credit rating, gain access to formal banking channels, this can be a hurdle in a lot of situations. So again, City's role here is in terms of knowledge sharing, bringing about the people who are in the financial sector and giving them access to the MSMEs, and it's a mutual win-win kind of situation. Today you have banks and other financial institutions that want access to MSMEs and MSME platforms, and likewise the MSMEs need capital to finance their investment needs. So that is where we play a role in bringing them together. And the third, I would say, slightly digressing from the topic, but to be competitive today, to be a smart business today, you also need to be compliant, sustainable, and have traceability in your manufacturing process. So there again, today that's not a simple exercise. You have various certification bodies, you have various certifications that companies aspire for, and again, there technology plays a key part in terms of collecting data, putting that data into a format or into a way that enables them to quickly capture, pull up that data when required for an audit, or pull up that data when required to be presented to a customer or a potential customer. So there again, technology plays a part, and to go hand in hand. Today, sustainability is not just a competitive advantage. Sometimes it's a key market entry requirement. So that is where, again, small and medium businesses struggle. A lot of times they have the data, but in terms of compilation of that data, putting it together in a meaningful fashion and then presenting it to a certification body or a customer, I think that's where, again, technology comes in, and we strive to help them do that.
Thank you very much. Maybe a quick follow-up question on that. We all talk about a digital product passport that is coming up in Europe, in China, in the US. What's the state of this discussion in India, actually? I mean, I think about all the small and medium-sized companies that cater to the needs of the domestic market. Are they faced with that challenge in the near future, or is that still a long way down the road?
I wouldn't say it's a long way down the road. I think there has been a lot of talk about even product labeling today in India. That is something that's not always prevalent. You have the semi-organized or not so organized sectors where products today don't even carry a label which mentions what the garment is made of. So I think that is the first step. And then if you talk about the Indian textile and clothing industry, the domestic industry is although fragmented, it still all happens in and around certain clusters. So we don't really see too many discussions about digital passports there. But if you want to be an exporter, obviously it's very essential. And for a fragmented industry, it's even more difficult and even more, I would say, necessary to adopt technology to be able to capture who you're buying from, who you're selling to, who you're getting your trims from. And there again, like I said, it's the collation and assimilation of that data and then presenting it in the right form, which is important.
Thank you. That brings me back to Rita and LMW, Mr. Rajasekaran and Mr. Deka. Could you briefly give us a glimpse? I mean, you already kind of do so in the past comments of a smart spinning mill of the future, say in 2030, 2035. Do you think the industry is ready for that? Maybe the concepts you have already in mind that you elaborated on in the future. So what would a spinning mill look like in 5 years' time at a large spinning facility in India or elsewhere in the world that you are providing the machines for? Anybody? Mr. Deka now, or yeah, okay. Now Mr. Deka.
Yeah. I'll start. I think 2030 is a horizon where we are looking at a smart factory, but not real implementation of Industry 5.0 as on date. So what we are targeting is by 2027, we should have a factory where you need something like 3 people for every 10,000 spindles. So this is the target. And the 3 people means if you go for a 100,000 spindle factory capacity, then you need 30 people to run it. Compared to today 150, 200 people that you need to run such a machine, such a mill. And when it comes to
just quickly, so at the moment it's how many at the moment for 100,000 spindles? Just that people have the ratio. So from where to 3?
It depends. I'm talking about 3 people per shift.
Yeah.
So it goes to around 9 people per day, 3 shifts. So today people uses from something like 70 to almost 150, 200 people.
Wow.
So that's the kind of a jump that you will have. And I think there are many areas where today we are overstaffed. But you know the worries in India. So we don't, the next question is, do we need such a factory in India? Our reply is not as on date, but if you talk to our main customer base, they see that these days are coming. There will be very soon, we will also have shortage of skilled people. We will have people who would not like to work for textile, particularly spinning units. And then with such a raw material base and with such a knowledge powerhouse that we have to run the factories. So, but if we go to countries like Turkey, for example, today they are already asking, can we have such a factory? Why 2027? Why not next year? Because they have tremendous labor issues, they have very expensive labors, they are not able to manage. And there are few Indian entrepreneurs, by the way, who is asking when we can put such a factory in US. Because in US, many Indian entrepreneurs have already taken over factories in made-up, for example, pillows and bed sheets. They want to build up a value chain. Today the yarn goes from India, it gets, fabric is made somewhere else, then the fabric goes to another country. So it's a long route. So why not do a value addition? But they need a factory which is not a dark factory, but they need a factory with quite low number of people so that they can manage their conversion cost. And we have few Indian entrepreneurs who have given us a task that in 2027, when you bring such a concept, we'll be the first one to venture into it.
So we have to wait until ITMA 2027, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Also for you,
Yeah, sure.
Mr. Raja Sekaran, right? Yeah. But maybe you already let us know a little bit of what you're going to present at ITMA 2027 in Hanover.
Yeah, I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag.
But it was worth a try. Okay.
Actually, thank you, Prasant. Actually, what are we trying to replace this smart factory with? We are trying to replace two sets of people. One set of people who are operating the machines or who are directly connected with maintaining it. So that's on one side. But are we satisfied with it? No. On the other side are the people who are smarter. But unfortunately, our textile industry is loaded with so much of unpredictable parameters. So the second set of people are also, we are trying to empower them to I'll not call them as replacing them. So these are two different sets of people. So what we are going to see is a control room manufacturing as far as the people is concerned. And one good thing about us is that what we practice inside our factory, we would like to take it to our customers as well. But at the same time, we remember that too much of at the end of the day, we are going to make yarn and fabric. The ROI and the cost is going to be the one that where our customers are going to lap it up, because already a lot of automations are already available, but how much of it can be implemented immediately? That's one thing. So one is reduction of labor. Second, in textile, we know that the raw material cost is the highest. So how do we make the best out of the raw material that I have? 65% of the cost. But how do I get it with optimizing different machine parameters automatically? How do I reduce my power? How do I optimize my power without compromising on the productivity or the quality? So these are the things we would like to go forward with, and definitely the industry is ready to accept, provided we give the ROI. So that's...
Thank you. Thank you very much. That brings us to Morgan Technica and Siga Spintech, Mr. Anand Dakuma and Mr. Rajak Krishnan. Yeah, what is the future potential? Might change the sequence now for the automation solutions to become a norm in the industry. What are the 2-3 changes that must happen to make this a reality in the future?
Can I take?
Please, whoever you might discuss this.
One thing is very sure that when we talk about so many technology in this platform, that all the routine job will be eliminated. There will be no routine job that human which had to do it in these days, especially the younger generation. They don't want to do the routine job. So you have a shortage of people who want to do the routine job. So I feel the first cobot will come in place to replace all the routine job. That is first. Second, I see a high potential for the savings. When we talk about saving, there are several levels of savings. Energy saving. There are several sensors placed in place. You have a data. So you monitor how your factory is performing in terms of energy saving, where you are wasting, how this can be optimized. Also, every machine, all the machines should be ESG certified, because nowadays, even when we produce the machine, when we design, so we definitely consider the power consumption, all the energy saving. This is playing a major role in every level, boiler, or you take any processing of finishing of either fabric or garments. Here I see a lot of area that we can save. Similarly, the water, when you do the denim garments. Technology is changing very fast. I would say all the textile players, you have to pay attention that the technology is changing so fast, you will only keep the raw material, not the finished fabric. Because digital printing playing a major role. We collect the orders, we design based on the customization. I'm talking about the mass customization. People collect the order online. We design and we print what is required for the garment. Let it be sportswear, let it be denim, let it be even formal menswear as playing a major role on this. So every stage you will have only the base fabric, raw fabric. Once you receive the orders, then you only produce what is design required. It is digitally printed. Technology is changing so fast. So if you ask me, the mass production is going to be there in future, I doubt. Maybe basic garments will be there. But when you go for luxury brands, it's going to be mass customization. So all our equipments are now equipped with the technology that is able to adapt these changes. This is very important. It's not that the mechanically controlled machines are now produced. Every machine has the PLC, every machine has the PC, every machine is with the sensor and cameras. We are building machinery which we are converting from fabric until garmenting. So we can able to track when there is a defective fabric, how we manage them in the cutting operation. So here also optimizing the material. So when we talk about the entire supply chain, how the sustainability will work, energy saving, fabric optimization, or any kind of raw material optimization play a major role. So all the equipments having the new technology, you are able to there is a flexibility enough to switch from one product to another product. There used to be a time, I only produce denim, I only produce ladies top, I only produce. Now it's changing. This is a very fast changing world. Change is only permanent, I believe. So all the equipment, your system and machineries, you have to think in this direction. All the machines are now produced in this way. You can see the multi-head embroideries are changing to smaller embroidery, small heads. So customization will play a major role, and we are ready for that. That is a part of Industry 5.0. I think I covered most of the points, and I will leave to Mr. Radhakrishnan.
Yeah, when we talk about smart factory and automation, I think fundamentally we should also understand and decode what smart factory or automation is. So basically, I would like to divide, in a second. So how do we automate the entire factory, or take it to the next level? So we can divide into, say, what we call as a material movement, material handling, then the process automation, like automatic die dispensing or so on and so forth, or automatic packaging. then automation of the data, and of course self-diagnostics. I think these are the 5 fundamental elements of automation which in any factory runs, irrespective of automobile factory or pharmaceutical or textile. So from this, if you see, what is the DNA of automation? So the DNA of automation is modularity. If you see the large automation companies like Bosch or Dematic who automate large, very, very complex factories, the whole solution has become extremely modular in terms of what are the modules that we can pick for different types of a solution that would give me a particular, end result. I think that understanding the concept of automation, I think, is more important than the technology of automation. Now, when we decode that, the modules are readily available now in the market. Say, for example, cobots are readily available. Different types of material movement made, be overhead conveying systems or AGVs or AMRs is available. Data, analysis, you have AI tools or non-AI tools which is available from the market. So it is very, very important as from the industry side, when we invest or look into automation, how to decode the DNA of automation, what we mean as automation, how do we automate it, and how modularly we are able to do it. This is very, very important because the modularity, if you don't understand the modularity, we will lose the flexibility in automation. Because many automation comes with a rigid architecture. A rigid architecture, like Mr. Anand was explaining, is not going to give sustainability for the business. After 3 years, we don't know what we need to produce. So a modular automation becomes very, very important in the whole, gamut of automation industry. The other important thing which is happening on the supply side of automation is most of the large automation company are integrators. They don't actually, competitors go together to finalize a particular business. You have a robot company which also makes an AMR and an AMR company which makes robot, but both go and take this order because he has a particular advantage, the other guy has an advantage, and they want the end customer to get benefit from both these advantages. Right? So collaboration, integration is the future for automation. And when we invest on automation, the most important thing that we need to see is we should not, curtail the flexibility which is needed for sustainability of this business. This comes to the second point. The second point is any automation investment is not transactional, it is relationship based. It is like you invest on an ERP system, right? If you invest on an ERP system, you are wedded with an ERP system for the next 10, 20 years. You have to go with the ERP system. Automation has to be looked from that concept, not on a granular level, but on a holistic level, so that the company or the integrator has to take that perspective of traveling with you, despite the ups and downs, despite the flexibility what you want in business. So I think that is a fundamental concept in automation that we need to, take it forward. Coming to what are the emerging technology from my perspective, I think like Ms. Rajshekar was saying, I think fundamentally, I think fiber handling. Fiber handling is a very, very key area where automation not only saves labor, but also helps to optimize the blend mixing in your blow room or blend mixing. So that is one area which is emerging. Then the other area is actually there is low cost, AMRs, absolute low cost. It's around $200, $300 AMRs which is coming into the market, which can move inside the factory and do different types of things. 5 years back, 10 years back, we did not have robots to clean the house. But you just see how these robots are performing in your house. It's just 10,000 rupees. I mean, so intelligent. And you can switch it on and then it cleans the entire house and gets charged automatically, right? So these technologies are available at $200, $300, I mean, it's really high tech, available at $200, $300. And it's a matter of time, it will become extremely reliable where we can start imbibing these technologies also into this business. So one is, the bale side or the fiber side. Second is, very low cost AMRs, which is going to move cans or different types of material inside the factory. This is the next thing which is going to come. Automated packaging systems are getting very, very important because packaging is something where, a lot of manpower is involved. Finally, if you see things like, shipping into the container, putting the boxes into the container, putting the finished goods into the container. If you decode any company, whether it is spinning company or garment company, where people are involved, most of the main process, there are less people involved. More people are involved in bringing the fiber to the blow room or, taking the final product into your container. These are the areas where I think automation is going to completely disrupt. Today we are working with a lot of contractual labors, but these contractual labors are also not going to be available after 5 years or 10 years time. I think this is an area where, a lot of improvement will happen. So if you understand things from a modular concept and approach this automation, I think we can easily decode it and then we can have a scalable, sustainable and an automation with a, future in mind.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Raman, you have an interesting background across the entire textile value chain, covering textile machinery, then fabric and apparel manufacturing in some best-in-class companies in India. Briefly, how has your experience been in technological changes in apparel manufacturing in India? What bigger changes do you envision in the next few years, and whether the industry is ready for it here in India, the apparel industry?
Right. So in apparel industry, like when we say this fashion industry, the key point here is speed. Now, every brand wants to react late so that they can be more accurate in predicting their designs. Because at the end of the day, this whole industry works on forecasting model. The things on the shelf are all pre-planned based upon how the customer's interests are going to be. So what I have seen in the last, I've been interacting with the apparel industry from the fabric side as well for the last 25, 30 years. So the kind of pressure on speed has been immense. So the industry is reacting to it. The time available for converting the apparel, which used to be 45 to 50 days, is shrinking to maybe 15 to 20 days. Now, if the speed is the driving force, so the couple of emerging technologies which I spoke in my previous few minutes back, is that like how do the predicting the worker availability, which is a major constraint in India, that suddenly when your shipments are due, you will find that there is a huge amount of absenteeism. Most of the factories today work at about 70% efficiency. And so the amount of absenteeism, how do we control? That will be play a very key role. And the amount of analytic support going on to predicting what is going to happen after 1 month or 2 months, and how the management can react beforehand, will continue to play a larger role, and the technologies will keep on improving to circumvent this issue. Another major thing which I feel that things will work in the whole industry here is like how fast the turnaround time in the merchandising can happen. Now, I briefly touched in my previous talk that digitalization in merchandising, but this is a huge subject by itself, because earlier times, the amount of time available for the merchandisers to ready the raw material, the button, the trims, the fabrics was immense. I mean, there was sufficient time available. But today, the reaction time is much, much more faster, wherein there definitely a support from a digital system helps them to be more efficient. There are so many packages are there in the industry, but are they covering the entire frontiers? Probably not. There's a lot of there are a lot of domains which are still left, but the whole industry is progressing very, very fast into this. The third point, of course, one of my fellow speaker also spoke about, is the automatic stitching. Now, a fabric per se, because of its drapability, there's a pre-treatment of fabric is required to make it stiffer before the machines can handle it as well as the hands can be. But this will definitely go a long way in expediting the turnaround time. Today, most of the factories work 1 shift or maybe 2 shifts. Generally, 3rd shift is not, in many of the clusters, it doesn't work, whereas the machine can change the whole dynamics. But the question is, in a country like India, well, is this the right direction? Now, we'll leave that kind of a question to a different forum. But purely talking about the costs and the speed of change, these technologies will surely evolve. And typically in a large continuous orders of workwear, probably this kind of a setup will come first, because the lot changes are going to be far more lesser. Whereas in a typical fashion where the lot sizes are small, the dimension of change in the styles are much, much higher, probably this automatic sewing by robots will touch later. So this is what I could see a trend in the emerging technologies which will come in few years. Already started. Maybe in next 5-6 years things will more fine tune and it will take it to consummation.
Thank you. That brings me once again back to Mr. Koganti from... Oh, he left. Okay, well, then we open the floor. I didn't see that even. We open the floor for any question. Do we have a microphone somewhere? If not, then we give this gentleman there and then Mr. Sodi afterwards.
Good afternoon to one and all. Great panelists, and very exciting because tech is always super exciting. Given that I read somewhere, no conversation is complete today without AI, I'll start by saying that as Dekaji said that the headcount will go in their futuristic factory from 70 to 200 range to something around 3. Fantastic, I'll try to give a context here. The context is, I think most of the people in the room must have seen that there is one video, Chinese factory video, which is proposing like zero human factory, And it says that almost 10 on 10 on all the parameters. I don't know whether they are trying to prophesize AI or they are trying to create a China-oriented story, how much truth is there, but it is a viral this, And there is a possibility today, everything is possible in the AI world, that zero human factory must have come into being, So the question anyone can answer, I wanted to know, is it going to be one-off occurrence or do you think it is a directional call? Quote unquote that the technology takes away the jobs, which is a big deterrent for country like India, which is 1.4 billion and counting. Thank you.
Anybody? Take the mic.
I take this because every day I face these issues when I go to the customer. I think on textile, when you talk from cotton until fabric, you can probably apply some kind of dark factory technology. When you comes converting the fabric into garment, there are several challenges are involved. I don't think this will replace the entire human. Okay, it is impossible. What the new technology, what we are talking about the Industry 5.0, we are not only applying technology, are we taking care of our ecosystem? That is a question mark. That is why Industry 5.0 is coming in place. It is not technology to replace human. It is a technology to assist human. Okay? So we are not here to replace any humans. The Industry 5.0 is more of a responsibility than efficiency. That is why Industry 5.0 is European Commission, everybody is insisting very strongly now. Okay, we develop technology, we invent, we implement, but is not to replace human, it is to assist them to perform better. Example, I said the routine job will be eliminated. Because the routine job, even you want somebody, there are no people to do it. We are talking now the new generation, they want a technology-oriented operation. If you do not have technology in your factory, nobody will come to your factory today. So they are coming, they are growing with the touch screen. You can imagine. I just want to add, all our machines, we are adding touch screen. It's a Windows-based touch screen because they have to feel comfort working. If they feel the technology far away from them, it's not going to happen. All the mechanical machine will get replaced with the computer-controlled machineries. So I believe the technology is going to assist and improve our efficiency rather than replacing. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody wants to add anything? Please, Mr. Deka.
Mr. Salil said, I think whatever video you were talking about, I personally got a lot of messages from our customers. Is it real or is it just to confirm that it is real? In China, there are factories where automation is at a different level. I think he had mentioned already. But when it comes to Chinese factory, I'm talking about now my understanding or our understanding, there are certain limitations. Limitations of, running a factory with flexibility, running a factory with machines which can offer higher productivity. So you can run a factory with very high level of automation to a certain productivity level. If you increase this productivity level 2 times or 3 times, can we still work with the automations? That is a big question. That's where people like us, we have collaborated with some of these automation experts from China. And as he mentioned, modularity, there are many things available at a very lot, a price which can make automation actually not very expensive as we used to think when Industry 4.0 came. And to your point, Industry 5.0, it's a hope. It's a hope that it will not eliminate, people. And I think we all have to emphasize that, so that we use the repetitive job for all our robots and cobots, while all the creative jobs are being handled by human beings.
First, Mr. Sodi, and then you gentlemen. Next question, Mr. Sodi. Microphone, please. Thank you.
Navdeep Sodi from Gatesy. Mr. Schindel, thank you for bringing together such bright minds. My question specifically is addressed to the two gentlemen, the spinning OEMs, to Rieter first and then Lakshmi. This is about raw material. I mean, 65-70% of the cost in spinning is just raw material. And in future, we are going to have two challenges with the raw materials. So the question is, how are your machines going to adapt to and cope with these issues from the technological perspective? One is dealing with the rogue raw materials. We are talking about increasing the level of regenerated fibers, which are inherently substandard, So how will technology help us in predicting the behavior of these fibers in processing them? Second is, as a result of regulation, traceability, digital passports, and so on, this will become essential, So how are the spinning machines in future deal with this second issue as well, Thank you.
Yeah, I think this is one of the actually technological, evolution that we were addressed in the previous questions from Mr. Sindler. Two problems in recycling. One is sorting of fibers, and one is how do we process it in spinning and produce a yarn at a good productivity level and also high amount of regenerated fibers or recycled fibers, in the final product. So these two challenges, I think we have not been able to address. So this is where we have invested a lot of time and energy. And number one, how do we handle the sorting? And number two, we have to do certain modifications in spinning process. The same spinning process for virgin cotton or virgin raw material would not work. These modifications are not many, but we have to adapt. And the last one is, of course, how do we get the maximum amount of recycled fibers in the final yarn? Say 50% instead of 30 or 25 that we get today. So just to inform you, we will be setting up a complete recycling factory in one of the country you must be knowing, Turkmenistan. And ironically, this person is not a textile person. He is a recycle person. He recycles everything. He recycled everything from plastics to I do not know, many other leather and everything. So now he wants to recycle textiles. His job is he will recycle and give it back. So we will set up this factory. It's in a very advanced stage, and this will be really a testing field for us whether we have achieved what we have been planning so far. To sorting, and then how do we get maximum number of recycled fiber in the yarn. So this was your first question. The second question was about traceability. Traceability, did you mean in recycled fibers or in general? In general, okay. In general, I think a lot of things are going on traceability. It's starting from bale fiber to the fashion. And here, there are again several companies trying several measures. I think our Indian companies are also trying here. Somebody is using codes, QR codes, somebody is using sensors, somebody's, I think there are many different approach. So we at Return also are working on traceability on a way that you can trace back anything from the process or even from the end users, that if some complaint comes or if some question comes about where this fiber comes from, I think it will be very, very easy in coming days or coming years to find out.
Sir,
Yeah.
please.
Thank you, Mr. Adi. Of course, your questions were two. One, my attempt from my company is not to produce those rogue cops or whatever it is by using AI and ML, because as I was discussing earlier, the raw material realization or how do we utilize the costly raw material is going to be our challenge. But there, with the predictability of AI, because human mind cannot handle so much of parameters. It's almost closer to impossible, because we are not handling an industry where with predictable parameters, we are not into any steel or casting or whatever, wherever the properties, physical properties or chemical properties are very predictable. Here we are dealing with the, even in a bowl, in a single fiber to fiber, the parameter can change. So our aim is to, one, measure the parameters, automate all the machinery parameters to suit whether it is a recycled fiber or a virgin fiber to produce yarn without any defects. But once these defects comes, then it is up to us. We are working on where the machines talk to each other on prevention of those ones. Okay, it has produced once, but how do I prevent it from continuing to produce and stop it at the nip it at the bud itself? So that's one. Traceability already Mr. Prasant Deka has answered. So traceability is about two things. One, inside our factory, how the material moves, and outside our factory. Inside the factory, the traceability is going to be easier with microchips or whatever it is, but outside the factory it will be by embedding some tracer fibers where we are working on the technology. So that's the answer. Hope it addresses your question, Mr. Viti.
Thank you. Gentleman in the first row, and if time is left, also for you. Thank you, sir.
Hello, I'm
Please
Avinash
introduce
Maker. Avinash Maker from Suvin. Question is to you, Dr. Stindler.
To me.
I just wanted to know, when we are talking of Industry 5.0, we are already switching over to 4.0. I'm talking of Indian perspective. And we have machines or we have plants which are more than 25 years old, 40 years old. Whether there would be any age restrictions in coming years from the ITMF related, especially for the export of yarn or fabric or garment.
Whether there are any restrictions?
Age of the machines.
Age restrictions of for the age of machines. Not that I'm aware of. There are many countries that have very old machines. India maybe partially also, but India is also investing a lot in new machines, and I think, as mentioned before, if you want to produce sustainably in terms of energy consumption, water consumption, and so on and so forth, you need to invest in new machines. There's no doubt about it in the long term. So that's good news for the OEMs, right? There will be investments, hopefully also for the automation companies. So there's always reason to invest in new machinery, in new technologies. Old machines, I don't call them old machines, I call them experienced machines, have their place. Very often they're exported to other countries where regulation is weaker, investment capabilities are much lower, that are behind the development curve of the countries that are exporting those experienced machines, or in niche markets, or maybe even in luxury markets, where they actually want the feel and touch of these old machines very often. So no restrictions as such.
Because a lot of energy and other resources would be consumed by them.
Absolutely.
So whether are you working on those type of regulations?
No, first of all, we are not regulating anything at ITMF. We are only publishing data about new machines, and are always very happy to see new machines being shipped anywhere in the world, but also to India. And just to make this comment, actually, in the last few years, exports, or let's say shipments to India, picked up compared to the past, and hopefully to reach the goals that India set itself, $100 billion in exports alone, I think, by 30, 31, 32. You need a lot of new machines, a topic we wanted to discuss with the gentleman from the Power Loom Council, how to replace those power looms, in the next 5-10 years, because obviously they are not the most economical, not the most sustainable machines, and there's a lot of potential, for new investments in India, also in that segment.
Yeah, my question was for the entire value chain, because even in process house, a lot of resources are going in, and because they are old.
Absolutely.
Maybe Mr. Ashwin Chandran can throw light on this.
No, I think it's financial viability that will answer those questions. It has to be financially viable to replace a machine or replace a set of machines. I think that will be the crucial factor in determining whether one replaces or not. I don't think forced regulations, like I think you're probably referring to vehicles, right? Polluting vehicles after a certain, or vehicles after a certain age have to be phased out. We haven't seen that yet in the textile industry. I don't think that we need that. I think financial viability will answer those questions of which machines are to be replaced and when.
Okay, thank you.
It happens in China. In China, regulation can happen very quickly, and you have to phase out your old technology if the government decides so. But otherwise, I have not heard of any such regulation from governments. Last question, and then...
Sorry, Mr. Chandra, sorry. You could have asked that question to me and Mr. Deka. We would have loved that.
You would support it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually speaking, sir, when we speak of the installed spinlage in India, we always speak about 52 million. But already 7 million is stopped, 45 million. But out of this 45 million, how much is very competitive? In the past 5 years, if you see, only 78 million is new. More than 50% of spindles in India is 20 years or older. But what is the incentive for mills to replace it? That's where his answer of forced conversions or forced modernizations will not. But these mills have to sustain for themselves. If they sustain, they are going to make money out of it. Otherwise, at the end of the day, they are going to go down on some other. We'll put up a new factory, and those will become redundant, go into waste.
I think more risk is there from the carbon footprint side. Machinery industry or association will not have anything, but tomorrow government might say that from this unit, this is the carbon emission you can do, not more than that. So I think as a machinery manufacturers, we have to also contribute there. Can we upgrade those machines to become sustainable? And I think that's also our responsibility, apart from selling new machines.
Quick last question, please, sir.
Thank you. So I'm Harshit Soreka. I'm the CEO at Robro Systems. So my question is more of a discussion on with Radhakrishna ji. We more talked about modularity in automation. And it's connected with upgrading new machines where you can retrofit technology into existing machines and make them empowered with the latest technologies without having to replace the entire, because we have seen that very few people have that financial possibility of replacing new machines. So as a solution provider, as a technology provider which wants to enable technology adoption in textile, what we face a lot of challenges with this modularity concept, where a lot of machines already exist that are old, that don't communicate using APIs, but we want to adapt new technologies also. So from a buyer's perspective, like how would you recommend solution providers or system integrators to navigate this? And I also resonate very well with what you said about building relationships like a ERP system, because we try to do that with our customers. So any advice on how that adoption and installation of technology can be navigated from the seller's perspective?
Yeah, so talking about, I think Mr. Raj and Mr. Deka would be in a better position. Basically, if you talk about machines, machines definitely come with a fixed life. Every machine comes with a fixed life. The days are gone when you have machines which runs generation to generations. Machine comes with a fixed life. Not only in terms of the basic operation of the machine, but in terms of efficiency and the quality. So there we definitely see a gradual deterioration of quality and efficiency over a period of time. So what is the long-term plan of the investor to hold these old machines is one question that needs to be fundamentally asked. So whether you are going to retain this machine for the next 3 years or 5 years, what's the residual value of the machine? Whether using that machine actually gives a ROA or not is one question that has to be answered. Of course, in terms of implementing automation or implementing even smarter solution for existing machines, I think there is a gamut of solutions available discreetly from large and small scale companies which can come and do certain PLC additions, some sensors here and there. But I would say from my perspective, sustainability of such technology is always under question, because it's like, a very, very small company giving an ERP solution. I mean, he should be available after 3 years. He might migrate to the US and go, right? So basically, that is something which we need to really understand. A, whether these machines have a residual value to hold. B, who is the solution provider for this modular solution which can be fitted into the company. But this is, I think, a case-to-case basis. So, for example, it is a very, very small investment on this particular machine which can enhance the life of the machine, enhance the data visibility for the next 3 years. Okay, the next 3 years this machine is going to perform for me. And I have a very, very small sort of an incremental investment on this machine. I think it is good to go. So that is on the PLC side, or I would say data automation side. In terms of material handling side, I would say I think automation for a new factory is the best thing that could be done. And if the existing factory has a residual value of say 5 years or 10 years, okay, 10 years I'm not going to touch the capital machines, but I have a current labor problem which I'm not able to solve, then I think you should definitely go for automation, but you have to modulate the investment on automation and not make it superfluous. But I think there is a wide range of solutions available from different companies within India who can actually help companies on this front.
Thank you very much. So to keep our time limits, I would like to ask everybody to give a big round of applause first for the panelists, and then I invite, thank you, CT, for the facilitation of something. Well, we do that later maybe. Should we do that first? We have to do that, okay.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, please. Mr. Deka. I think you will come. We'll request Mr. Chandran to felicitate Dr. Schindler also. Thank you. Thank you. To have a more logical conclusion to this discussion, we'll be holding a small launch of some self-paced learning courses, which has been developed by the Textile Sector Skill Council with the help of ILO, their knowledge partners COECA and NITRA. We'll have a small launch session. For that, may I request the speakers to step down, and may I request the team from ILO, and yeah, I think that after a group picture we can. Would request the speakers to be around, and I would request Chairman City to please come up on stage for the launch of the online modules. May I request Dr. Swapna, CEO, Textile Sector Skill Council.
Calling the ILO team to please be on the stage. Yeah, you also come. You also come. SGCT. Yeah.
So good evening all. So I request TSC Chairman Dr. Mr. Ashwin Chandran sir to please be on the stage. And we welcome Mr. Octavianto Saribu from ILO, Deputy Director, and Ms. Sudipta Batra from ILO, Senior Program Officer. And I welcome CEO Dr. Swapna Mishra, TSC, and I welcome Ms. Chandrima Chatterjee from City, Secretary General. So now I welcome Dr. Swapna, CEO TSC, to give an intro about the program, please.
Thank you, everyone.